upside down. One of those great racing sayings. So, Bossy, have you ever got instructions from a trainer that you've decided to ignore and ride upside down?
I have actually on many occasions, and one such occasion was in our best race, the Cox Plate, the Ladbrokes Cox Plate.
Who did you do it to? What trainer?
Bart Cummings.
Oh no,
he hated his horses leading. As you know, he absolutely detested it. And I'd ridden this colt in barrier trial the 10 days before, and I knew that I could never get into an arm wrestle with him, Lizzie. If I knew I did, we would both lose the battle.
Yeah. So you decided to bounce out of the barrier.
He didn't look very happy. What was he saying to Dad?
And you know what exactly Bart said then?
What?
He said it a few explanatories, said, thank God it won.
He was annoyed at you leading.
He was so annoyed at me for leading, but the thing is, it won me the race.
Absolutely. You won the race.
Yeah, I got the race. Got the job done.
Absolutely. You let out of the straight the first time and then you just kept kicking and finding.
Yeah, listen, he was a very strong individual and he was a juvenile colt who didn't have any... He was just so powerful, and if I got into an arm wrestle with him that day, it would have just ended in tears. So I just thought, oh, well, I'll let you go, do your thing. And you know what, Lizzie, first time with blinkers, when he went down the hill at the mole, he got completely lost. So then all of a sudden, I had control. He went from him taking control to me having control, and that's what won the race.
Yeah. So you eyeballed JB Cummings and said, I'm going to do it my way. Only Bossy could do that. The Doomben Cup is going to be an absolute beauty with a cavalcade of stars.
Half Yours is drawing away. Half Yours, a famous win for Jamie Mallam and Team Mac. She's a hustler up the line. Infantry Man goes home better. She's a hustler. Won the Zipping Classic. Birdman, hands and heels went to the front of Poulier and Banker's Choice run on. But Birdman is clear and Birdman wins it.
Solar Spain running home, but Vauban opens up the shoulders and goes back to back in the Sky High Stakes.
Pride of Jenny's gripping on. Declan's done it all of the way. Pride of Jenny. Pride of Jenny wins the Hollander.
With Pride of Jenny in the race, there's just so many different storylines. Now, the horse that was chasing it up on the Gold Coast was Birdman. Chased it also in the Australian Cup and probably eyeballed it too quickly and then got its heart broken. Whereas at Gold Coast, it was different the way that they rode him, and he's owned by some, a cavalcade of AFL stars. Who do you barrack for in the footy?
I'm a Collingwood supporter.
Oh, this is the last time you're ever going to be on 7. Birdman, what did you think of this run?
I thought it had a lot of merit. He was the one that really come out and just, her last quarter invariably will be her slowest, right? Yeah. So it gives you a sniff, but the damage has already been done. But I thought Birdman was so courageous here. You're going to go up 200 metres, which is going to suit him, and it just mightn't suit her as much.
There are some of the owners of all the various footballers that are involved in the ownership through Johnny O'Neill of bringing them a lot in. Jack Gunson, a key member of our team.
Yeah, we've seen a few of them at the races as well, and I'm sure that they'll all be watching on, hoping that he can get the job done, and some of them might even be here as well. But I suppose when you look at a horse like Pride of Jenny, when the jockeys and the trainers all get together, do they start thinking, how are we going to beat her, who's going to take it up? And is it almost like a gang of them, asking how do we change this racing pattern?
Absolutely. She's so unique. We very rarely see this in racing. Her aerobic capacity must be like nothing else. But it's a real tricky situation. I know where she does the damage, and the damage is actually done early. Right. And then, see what happens. She breaks from the barriers and she's not the fastest. So the first 200 metres, she's actually with them. And what happens after 200 metres, most jockeys have got their spot and we start to ask their horse to relax. So that we might come back half a second. Declan goes forward half a second. All of a sudden, that's 6 to 7 lengths.
Wow.
That's where the damage is done. So, and then the next furlong, he just continues on that, and next thing it's another 3 lengths. It's half a second. All of a sudden they're going, boys, what do we do now? Because if you're going to be if you're going to be the bunny, you know that you're not going to be winning the race. Yeah. So no one wants to actually do it. So it's quite clever what he does.
Yeah, terrific win to Sienna Grimer, a rider on the rise.
then Seasky, and behind those Corndale, who's off the track, followed by Shelled, then Chasendo, Telesto getting a run up on the fence, and Skillful Star last as they turn into the straight in the chipping. Norton and Clearly Chosen giving a ton of cheek as well clear. Burst is the first to go after him, followed by Kingston Bay, and now Telesto hooked to the outside is starting to wind up. Clearly Chosen about to be tackled by Burst, and look at Telesto. Telesto coming down the outside at 100 miles an hour. He finally wins another one, Telesto.
That must put a smile on your face, mate. Your first Group 1 win, and then stacks and stacks followed.
Oh, you never forget your first, and he was a magnificent colt, Telesto, and the Chipping Norton, which is it's a time-honoured race, so it was a nice one to win.
Yeah, that's right, and you did it for Graham Begg. Was
Graham Begg, yes. No, Graham Begg, but Mr. Begg, who I admire greatly. What a great horseman, and as you know, Graham is an absolute great horseman himself.
How do they win our hearts and minds? It's courage. The fight that rises, the bravery to be bold. Pride of Jenny is racing's fearless frontrunner.
We expected her to lead by a long way, but seriously, 30 lengths? This is unbelievable.
From the gates, she explodes. Power unleashed. A lion-hearted concoction of speed, stamina and grit.
This is a demolition job. Pride of Jenny in the Queen Elizabeth State.
She asked the chasing pack, how much do you want it?
She's still 6 or 7 lengths in front of Michael Lucy.
Come on, catch me if you can.
Pride of Jenny, stand up and cheer. This is going to be a famous win.
The horse you can't take your eyes off.
Pride of Jenny, it's the spectacular.
Pride of Jenny's ripping on. Declan's done it all of the way. Pride of Jenny.
Oh, what a star she is. Pride of Jenny is the headline act. Fascinating, 13 career wins. She's only been favourite on 5 of those occasions. She's been beaten favourite 7 times in her career. And 4 of them have been in Group 1s. Is the crowd with her or against her? Are they with Vauban? Called the Enigma. I think he's a terrific horse at 2,000 metres fresh. Half Yours, what a cup star. Asterix won a Group 1, the New Zealand Derby as a young horse. Kovalika won a Queensland Derby. Their best, though. They haven't got back to that level. Birdman has promised to win a Group 1. Can he provide Chris with his 200th? And then we've got She's a Hustler, the mare on the rise. So, Bossy, we'll give you the task of getting Pride of Jenny beaten. If you're riding against Declan Bates, if we look at last week's or 2 weeks ago, the Hollandale, what are the key aspects for you as a rider against her?
Well, there's a couple of things. When Pride of Jenny, she's almost impossible a bit because she, in a lot of races there's a sweet spot. When she runs, it's a nightmare for most jockeys. So what happens with her? She's not the fastest the first quarter. I'm saying the first 200 metres. But what happens between the 200 metres after the start and the next 200 metres? Declan just goes half a second quicker. She started to sort of take a hold and come back. So with half a second each way, that's 6 to 7 lengths, Lizzie. And then he just increases again the next quarter. And all of a sudden, the race is out of everyone's hands.
And it's a comfort zone, so they're chasing from such a long way from home.
And Lizzie, who wants to be the bunny? That's the thing. Because if you're the bunny, Richie, you're not going to win the race. So they're all sitting there kind of looking at each other, going to go, oh, what do we do here? And all they're doing at that point is hoping that Pride of Jenny doesn't turn up and she comes back to them. It's a hard task.
But the key is that she's got the ability to put herself on speed. She's got the ability. Not every horse has that ability.
Well, I think someone's just got to roll the dice and go with her that second quarter. When she starts to quicken, don't let her get 7 lengths in front. Try and be with her and then give yourself a chance of just being close enough. Not 15 lengths away, 5 lengths, and that can be the difference.
However, if you're James McDonald riding Birdman, he did that. He tried to be close to her in an Australian Cup.
Even Mr. Brightside as well, and that's when Cascadian won the Australian Cup.
So you don't want to be, you've got to ride your horse.
How would you, honestly, if you're thinking about it, how would you do, in this moment in time, which horse do you think has the ability to be not too far away from Pride of Jenny?
I really think Vauban. I like him. I mean, I love his stats at this. A little grind and grind and grind. Her last quarter is definitely going to be her slowest. Her last 300 metres evenly. So you just kind of, I know you're going to take your horse a little bit out of its comfort zone, but knowing that I don't want to make up 10 lengths. If I can make up 5, but then you're going to have half yours and Birdman sitting back thinking, I'm just going to pick these two off it when I want to. So I've settled on half yours. I think he's just going to be the one.
Yeah, the market's going to be interesting. Brad, where are
Fascinating stuff here. Birdman is your current $3.30 favourite, yet the tab holds till a very interesting story. So half yours currently 40% of the tab book, half yours, despite being the third favourite. So he is very popular with your rank and file punters. Birdman accounts for 22%. And although Pride of Jenny there is a $3.70 second favourite, just 15 of the hold. On Pride, $3.90. A little bit of support for She's a Hustler at that $7 quote, and Vauban is solid enough as an $8 chance. So still get the impression there's a bit to play out here as far as this market goes. But at the moment, Birdman, a $3.30 favourite. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
93rd running of the Doomben Cup. We've got three $3 chances in this, and one of them is half yours. Is actually the third favourite now.
Third. I watched. Like, it gave me goosebumps to watch him, and the report from Ben Mellum, who wrote him, said he was airborne, but he's now third up. He was unbelievable first up, obviously. He's here to rock and roll today.
Gay's won the race twice. She has Vauban, who's just that freshen up since the Tancred.
Yeah, I love that profile. Big, strong, powerful galloper. I just hope Gay throws the keys at Timmy Clark and says, go and do what you have to do.
So Chris Waller's won the race, Lizzie, on 3 occasions. Lee Friedman's got the record with 4. Let's have a look at his 3.
Well, this what worries me. I think he has enough speed from back in the field to run over in the Hollandale and in the Australian Cup. Came out of the Australian Cup and ran super in the Hollandale, which shows me that he now knows how to absorb that pressure, and he's a clear danger.
Kovalik is having his 4th attempt at this race. He's run 3rd, he's run 6th, he's run 3rd. You would think that he doesn't have a chance, but I've found when Kovalik can he beat the Stars? Probably not. Could he run in the top 4? Maybe he can in that small field. And here's the champ.
She looks amazing, doesn't she? You know, I was talking to Kieran May, he said the softest part about her teeth. You know, but she has to be, because her running style suggests like she have to be that tough all the time.
She's the 13th highest money earner in Australian racing history. She goes in the top 10 if she wins today, Lizzie.
Yeah,
and here's another mare.
She is a tough horse. You're absolutely right. She's hustler. Well, I suppose this is the horse that there's a lot of talk around that she could bring the rest of the field up to Pride of Jenny. We don't exactly know how they're going to ride her. That's all about the tactics are about to unfold, but she's got a terrific chance in this race.
Yeah, real buzz around now, isn't there? A market mover, Brad?
Your tab market mover will be number 4, Birdman, now into a $3.20 favourite. The tab traders showing their hand. They've pushed half yours all the way out to $4. 30 favourite.
And Birdman's going to be favourite. If you're a Pride of Jenny fan, not going to be favourite. All 4 of her Group 1 wins, she's never been favourite, so don't be concerned about that.
No, all I want is for the Pride of Jenny that we saw in the Hollandale to turn up, because when she turns up, she creates a box office show. She's the one where we ooh and ah whether she's stopping, and then when she fights again and has that huge heart and that big lung capacity, we're all willing. None of us are even on her half the time, but we just love to see her win, because she does something that horses don't do. She just runs and runs and runs. And often, Bossy, when horses get headed, they give up. They say, no, that's, you know, I've done enough. But she goes into the hurt locker and continues to give and push.
Yeah, and Declan, he knows her like the back of his hand. And Declan's got that ability to just go, okay, let's go and do it. And I reckon Declan will put on a bit of a show today. He'll probably try and really make a big stamp in this race.
And that's coming from a showman. So You were the ultimate showman. What about nerves for the jocks right now? What do they think?
Nerves are great. You know, like you want to feel nervous. The best part was when you get on the horse.
Yeah.
All the nerves just disappear because that's your happy place. But you just want to feel those nerves, Lizzie, before the race.
Do you have to sort of keep your cards close to your chest at this point in time, like not look anyone in the eye? Is there all about the you know, going back into yourself and being almost in your own head?
And in addition, do the jockeys chat to each other, the ones that are chasing?
Oh, they would be chatting behind the barrier saying, what are you going to do, you know? Generally, you don't tell them what you're going to do.
What are you going to do? None of your business.
None of your business.
Who's the jockey that keeps their cards the closest to their chest?
Oh, people like Nash Rawiller. He's a ripper.
Really?
And, you know, he can pull something out, Nash, as we all know. And he's one who will never tell you what he's thinking.
So Kovalika goes forward and we start this loading process for the 93rd running of the Doomben Cup. With Pride of Jenny in it, it makes it a fascinating contest. And I think everyone at Brisbane Racing, Queensland Racing would be absolutely thrilled with this. Huge crowd. What do? Do they eyeball the champ? Does she scoot away and create history? Or does Chris Waller join the 200 club? Strap yourself in, the Doomben Cup.
And Half Yours will be the last two to move up. Pride of Jenny goes in. Birdman takes his spot, and Half Yours, the Caulfield and Melbourne Cup winner of last year, will be the last one up. Jamie Mellon riding Half Yours. The starter, Brad Richardson's at the ladder. Half Yours goes in. All set. Ready for the 4X Doomben Cup. There's the light.